Hi, this is Eli Kranzberg, and welcome to this series on MODO Bass 2 by IK Multimedia. And this is the latest update to their physically modeled bass instrument that models the entire process of playing the bass, including all the interaction between the different components involved in the sound. Meaning, are you playing with your finger or pick? What position on the fretboard are you playing? What type of strings? What are the electronics like in the instrument and amp processing and so on? Now, in this first video, I want to take a quick little look around the interface so you can get familiar. It's a little busy when you first look at it, but once you understand the main components, it actually makes a lot of sense. So to start with, we have the top panel here, and here we can call up presets for different bass sounds. For example, there's one that's called up an acoustic bass. And of course, I can go to the different styles and call up different instruments and different settings in all of these different tabs. Let's go back to default for the moment. Now here we can clear the MIDI buffer with that. We set the overall volume output over here. And here we have some preferences, very simple. And if you're using the standalone version of MODO Bass, this is in a DAW right now, but the standalone version has some settings for your audio and MIDI hardware. So that's the upper panel, and we can save our presets by using this, either save or save as or delete user presets. Now in the upper tab panel over here, it shows the related parameters for each of the main sections. Now here in this first section, we choose the model of the bass that we're going to use, and it models all kinds. And we have stepper buttons here to go beyond or back to what's visible in the current range. And we have various play styles that we can get at here: finger, pick, slap. We can mute the strings, determine how the string is struck, and so on. Finger noise, a lot more. Then strings, we can choose how many strings, whether it's fretted or fretless, the action, what type of string, the gauge, how old they are, and so on. Then the electronics within the instrument itself, the different pickups for the different parts of the instrument. And then we have a studio section for two different amp types with related parameters. And then we have patterns page with a bunch of grooves. Of course, we'll explore all this in more detail. And then control section over here for MIDI control for changing key switches and other parameters that you can automate to affect how the instrument is played. Now, the central view over here displays the relevant parameters for whatever we're editing, like that, for example. And then we have the bottom here. We can determine whether we want to view the bass keyboard or fingerboard like that, or we can view the piano keyboard where we see all the colored key switch notes and so on. And when we're in the bass view, we get a little mini keyboard underneath. And then the bottom, we have a field here where we can call up the different patterns. This is related to the pattern page over here. And then we also have velocity, which is really useful. The velocity slider lets you increase or decrease the overall incoming velocities, including MIDI notes that you play live or whatever sequenced in your DAW, so you can kind of affect the velocity response of the instrument. And I'm just going to command click to bring it back to the default. So I think what I want to do now is just record a little part and just step through some of these parameters to give you a sense of how and what they do and what this instrument sounds like. So I just have an organ part and a drum groove here for a G7, and I'm just going to play a little bass part. Okay, so let's just loop that and get a little sense of some of the things that are possible with these parameters. So I can start by changing the bass. Use a fretless bass. Fusion jazz bass. Let's stick on that model. We can change the play style. There it is with a pick. Slap. To determine how it's going to respond. You can mute the strings. Add some fret and slide noises. Determine how many strings, whether it's fretted or fretless. The action, type of string, the gauge, and the age of the string, and so on. The active electronics. We can change the quality and create a custom instrument like that. Into an active circuit, and then amp section we can choose between tube and solid state, and so on. So that's a little taste of some of the type of control we get with MODO Bass 2. Join me and we'll take a deep dive into all these features starting in the next video.